back to High Farm Life, guys. You've been around the channel long, you know that I help a dairy out, and they do custom manure pumping. So we're 90 miles from home. We're up in Paulding County tonight. I come up with the boss's dad to work the night shift. So the 4 guys that are running, they've been up here since first thing Monday morning, and we got the camper up here. They stay the night, and it's Wednesday night now. They want to run all night, so we come up to take over for them so they can get some rest. So right now we are the tractor and drag line. It is about 3 miles that way. We've got 2 other pumps with the guys sitting at them. I'm sitting here at the big pump at the lagoon. I'm sitting in the 8400 running the agitator, which is feeding the big pump. I don't know if you can see it, but out there is a one of those noon lagoon crawling boats, and last year we had to run it when we was up here, which there is a video from last year if you go back in there and look. But the one they got this year is GPS guided, so I really don't have to pay attention to that. So we've been up here since it's coming up on 11:30 now. We got up here about 9 o'clock, and we had a hell of a time getting going. We blew a turbo line on pump 3, and we had a mender, which is where a line has been fixed, come apart twice on us. So it took us about 2 hours to get started back up. So we are up and running. I think most everybody that was up here during the day is at the camper now. So really right now I'm just sitting in here. A couple hours off to take pickup and go get fuel for the pump. We fueled this 8400 up an hour or so ago, but it hadn't been running that much, so it'll be good through the night anyways. It's only running at 1400 RPM. But I'll step out. It's kind of noisy at the pumps running. I'll step out and give you a view around. We're just covering wheat ground up here, and we're in the Lake Erie watershed up here in the northern part of Ohio. So we've got to be really careful about how we apply the manure, and there's a lot of rules and regulations we got to follow. And actually, normally if there's a predicted ½ inch of rain, you got to stop 24 hours in advance before that. The dairy here actually got an inch of rain today, and the field 3 miles south of here where the tractor is actually pumping the manure onto didn't get anything, so we're still able to run. But here it's slimy. I got mud all packed in my boots, and there's water everywhere here at the dairy. But I can see lightning to the southeast, which I did look at the radar. It stormed back at home, so we got some much needed rain. But yeah, so we're able to keep running. We got enough wheat ground to get 12 or 13 million gallon out on it, which a good day is 1 million gallon for us. So I don't know if we'll get 1 million tonight, because we're better than half done with an 80-acre drag right now, so we'll have to shut down and switch probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we'll have a 40-acre drag, and then we might be out of ground. So, which I'm heading back. We're probably going to try to be back around 8:30. It's a 2-hour drive, so we'll probably leave here around 6:30 in the morning. But I really like it up here in Paulding County. I don't think I'd want to live up here because it's flat and boring. I kind of like the hills and the woods and stuff back home, but coming up here in the evenings, it's really cool. Especially, I'm not going to get into the debate on whether or not wind turbines are feasible and pay for themselves, but it's kind of neat being up here and all the red lights on them flash at once. They're everywhere. I was going to try to get the camera out before it got dark, but we was having all kinds of issues, so I'm just going to sit here, probably get on YouTube and watch some videos, because right now for a couple hours all I've got to do is be here in case there's an issue to shut the stuff down, because when something goes wrong, you got to be shutting stuff down in a hurry, because we got 3 miles of line full of manure, and you got to be coordinated with the other pumps too to get them shut down. So if we get into something exciting, I'll try to take you along. So I just rolled around on midnight, and I'm getting out of the tractor and stretching a little bit. We got it ain't running, but it's one of these Deutz tractors, and I think it was this one here. I got to run it last year, and so that was a little different, but I'll take you over here and we'll show you the boat. It's kind of hard walking around on these banks. It's slippery from the mud. There is nobody driving this. I'm not even sure who has the remote, but it's just on a GPS pattern they've got set, and basically what it's doing is it's agitating it up, because all of these barns are bedded down with sand, and you can see it along the bank. Well, I don't know if you can, but it settles, and then all the wet liquids on top, that's got just pumps on it and jets, and it goes out there and it's just keeping everything mixed up, so we're not just pumping the water off the top of the sand. And it was actually getting kind of thick on us, so we started dumping more water into the lagoon from their separation system. So right now we are adding water because our gallons on the pumps were starting to drop and the boat was having trouble getting around. So we're down to the sand layer in there. So as long as that boat keeps running, we should be fine. If that boat were to stop, we'd just pull all the water off the top of the sand, and then we just have a big hole full of sand, and we want to try to get some of that sand out of there. So just getting out to stretch a little bit so I don't fall asleep. So we're down here at the farm's fuel tank, and we're filling up the bulk tank on the bed of the pickup. So we'll go up and we'll top off pump 1, and it's still probably got a couple hours in it, but I just like to keep it full so it'll be good to go. But there's one of their barns. They got, I think there's 4 more barns that way, and then there's a couple to the right of what you're seeing. And there is, I don't know if you guys can see it, some of the Mexicans are running around in there with Kubota skid loaders scraping. During the day, all day, there's big Deutz tractors running around with feed mixers, and looks like last year they had all Volvo payloaders, but I've seen 3 Doosan, the orange ones, this year that they feed with. It's 3:55 in the morning. I just took over out here in the 9400 pulling our toolbar. We've got the Airway, I think it's 40-foot Airway. We're pulling that we've got set up as our toolbar for applicating. We're going for around 13,500 gallon in an acre, and we're getting 1,820-ish gallons a minute coming from the lagoon. We're about 3 miles out. I just got in here, so I got bugs on the screen, but this is a new map, so can't remember how you get to where it tells you.
You got a little closer to the corn than I did up there on the end there, Robbie, where you're heading now.
Okay. You got our remember how to show you field totals, but we're running it all off Ag Leader monitor. But they were getting tired out here, and so I traded them off, which I didn't get to show you any of this last year. We do have auto steer this year. In the past, we haven't. So you don't move very fast doing this. This is actually pretty quick compared to what we normally do. We went less than a mile an hour. So you get up here in these fields, and sometimes it'll take you 45 minutes to get across, because when you do this drag line and you got a rectangular field, you cut across it diagonally. Basically, you're gonna run your line corner to corner, and the longest pass is the best way I can describe it. And then you'll do one side, and then you've gotta drive back over center, come back, and then to stretch out, because you don't want to, if you don't do it in the right order, you'll kink and twist the line and make a knot out of it, and that's no fun. So you got to stretch out, and then you go do the other side. So basically, you got a 120 acre rectangular field. You'll split it corner to corner, make a long pass out of it, and then you'll have 2 60-acre triangles to do. And then your hose should be running at the opposite angle when you get it done, and then that makes stretching out easier. It's kind of confusing. It took me a while when I started helping these guys to catch on to all that stuff, but everything, you gotta be right on, and can't really mess up doing this, because even though you call them on the radio, say shut the pumps off, there's still a lot of liquid coming through it. And you don't want to be stopped and having liquid still come out. So I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you.
Robbie, do you know which side of the creek this pump 3's on? On your side or the north side?
It is on my side of the creek. So that's one thing we got. You got a 120 acre field. You can't pump on all of it, because you got to stay 50 feet off of roads, 50 feet away from open ditches, because up here it's so flat they got drainage ditches everywhere, so you can't get close to them. And then if there's a house and they've got a well, I think it's 300 feet you're supposed to stay away from them. So there's just a lot of regulations. So you don't cover 100% of the field, but you get the majority of it. But just going back and forth now. Looks like I can see the end on the monitor, so we're getting fairly close. I imagine a couple hours the guys I come up with, we'll head back home, and then I'll go back to our farm and see what we can get into. I thought I'd bring you along for this, because I've never really seen any other ship pumping videos on YouTube, and it's interesting to me anyways. You gotta be semi-crazy to want to do this job, though, because it's everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and it's the rules and regulations. You got people that don't understand it, that complain, and they see after a rain, they'll see the creek's got mud in it, and they'll try to call it manure and call you in. We've dealt with that a bunch. So well, we'll catch you back here in a while. Out here at pump 3, we gotta grab this little trailer. It's got a fuel tote on it for the pump. Got the Honda Pioneer. o'clock in the morning. Well guys, that'll be all for the pumping video. My camera's about to die, so thanks for watching. Comment, leave a thumbs up on the video so YouTube gets us out there, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.